I am here with Jim. We just finished up a 6-month Worthy Fight Empowerment deep dive. Jim, thank you for taking a moment here to share your experience with my coaching.
Glad to be here, Matt.
Our first question here, where were you at before we started working together back? I believe it was last December. How are things? Yeah, I think this is a good place to start.
Sure. I think it was December. And, I'd been divorced for about just 6 months and had a long history of depression and an even more underwhelming history with antidepressants, and was just really running at half steam, and knew that it was not sustainable, that I had to find a way to restore energy, restore some level of inspiration and hope. I was feeling rather hopeless.
Thank you for sharing that, the vulnerability of where you were at. I believe you were on antidepressants for 20 years. Is that correct?
I was, and with no intention of, when I started getting on them, other than for relief, and then no intention to getting off of them for the most part. Just again, really looking to just feel better, and that was the only intention I had. And that's not, in my view, the intention that you have when you're working with, I think, psychopharmacological drugs. That's at least what I've learned.
Mm. Yeah, I from the get-go, I've admired and I honor your courage to call BS on Bullshit Incorporated, and to lean out into this edge, and your just your thoroughness of doing the research and making sure that you're fully supported. Ultimately, that led you to a special healing retreat in Costa Rica that we'll be talking about here in a moment, with ayahuasca. How have things changed? We're 6 months out now. And what's different in your life right now?
Well, through our work over the past 6 months, there's been a lot of learning, and going into areas that were outside of my comfort zone, but mostly listening to other areas that really were kind of foreign to me. I'd started learning about plant medicines, end of last year, and found your meetup group on Microdose Mondays. And that's how you and I really connected. And that was really where my education started. And from that point, it kind of just built momentum. And but where I am now, I have a few more tools to just deal with kind of the adversity that life throws at you. Understanding the power of ritual and other states of consciousness that we've talked about, whether it be, meditation, breathing, journaling, cold immersion, fasting, experimenting with things, and being a little more curious and a little less fearful.
Great to hear that. And again, I've honored how much you've trusted this process from the get-go, this inside out approach. And I believe you were just coming off the antidepressants when we first started, and we'd set that intention to stay off of them. It's after 20 years, there's a big addiction to those, and a lot of people struggle with that. So I honor your courage to kind of push through that discomfort of that, knowing that this trip to Costa Rica, that you'd have to be off of those off the medication, and that you were able to source from within through the ritual, through the practices, through the discipline, to source that joy from within.
Right. And, I learned, again, through just research and us working together that, SSRIs really kind of squash the benefits of working with psilocybin. And I experienced that firsthand. It took a while for those antidepressants to wash out and to get the benefits of working with psilocybin. And then the real motivator was, really, you can't have SSRIs in your system for several weeks before going on, an ayahuasca journey. And that was really the kicker that motivated me, that said, if I'm going to do this and try a new way of life without, antidepressants, and backstopping what maybe some of the purposes that antidepressants served with plant medicine, meditation, journaling, breathing, that I'm going to do it right and try to maintain without them. And it was, I'll be honest, it is probably one of my larger, greater personal accomplishments. Something that I've done for myself. Something that I probably used antidepressants as a crutch, and you can live without them. I mean, it's not easy, especially the withdrawal period. For me personally, it was very difficult. But once you push through and see that there's another world out there, and other ways to just basically treat some of the symptoms of depression and anxiety through meditation, through journaling, through we talked about so many different books over the past 6 months, and you referred me to a lot of great reading material, and just the education and the desire to learn to feel better without being on psychopharmacological drugs.
And I again want to applaud your ability to push through the discomfort phase. There's a phase, there's a withdrawal, there's a reason why a lot of people are stuck on SSRIs. Because it's a very uncomfortable phase. The plant medicine makes it a little bit easier, but that strong intention to heal, to let go, to harmonize, some of the relationships in your life. Ultimately, the big goal that we had set forth was to prepare you for the ayahuasca adventure and healing adventure down in Costa Rica. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching this right now are wondering, how did that go? How was that? Can you share a little bit about Costa Rica and kind of the before and the after, and maybe some insights that you had from that experience with the sacred medicine?
Sure. I mean, us working together, or me requesting your coaching services had a lot to do with that trip and planning that trip. I felt I was not sufficiently informed to just kind of wing it to go down there on a trip like that. And, my experience with you during, the Microdose Mondays and other conversations. And, I knew that it was, I needed some help with that. And, you working with you took a lot of the guesswork out of what might be in store down there. What the plant medicine might be like, just managing expectations, and before the trip, helping hone in on intentions that are necessary to devise before you go down there. So that was hugely helpful, and just beneficial, for me, doing something that was somewhat daunting. Solo travel to another country to take a medicine that I had no experience with, and it was good to have a resource and a sounding board. And then when I got down there, the experience was incredible. One thing I found that, the medicine doesn't, at least in my case, didn't really, treat the pleasure center of the mind. It was really the conscious and subconscious. And I had a lot of stuff, just personal, life things and family stuff and regret and, things I wanted to heal and self-forgiveness and all that. And, I got exactly what I needed. And, similar to what, I experienced on some of your meetup calls is that when you get a group of people that are all, I think, similarly motivated to heal, to be vulnerable, and to support the other person, you get a group of 18 people like that. You're just perfectly set up for making a lot of progress, even if the medicine didn't work, but you combine that with the medicine, and there's an element of fellowship that we've discussed in some of these situations, and it existed down there. And then after my return, there was a lot to unpack, and that's where the integration piece comes in, and you helped me plan for that, and you helped me roll out my integration and integrate it. And so it was really a powerful trip. And I think you go in with a series of expectations and hopes. I didn't get all of them. I didn't even get close to all of them. But I got exactly what I needed, which I think is a pretty common theme from what you hear when people are down there for the first time and drink the plant medicine.
Great to hear it. Thank you for sharing your experience, and again, that brave journey to Central America, and how the coaching helped you prepare for that on the front end and on the back end. What were the biggest benefits that you received from my coaching?
So, well, one, again, just the personal resource aspect. I can tap into your experience, and I got very comfortable with you early on how you host, the Microdose Mondays meetup, and I read your book, and there's a lot that can be learned, I think, from reading a book that has many autobiographical features, I think, and then the way you've the venue that you created on Meetup, and just feeling comfortable with trusting you and your experience and you personally. But so it allowed me to take that step and subsequent steps. But I think what you really taught me was there's the power of ritual in sticking to things that one, not just prepare you for maybe a plant medicine journey, but the daily meditation, the journaling, the breathing, and doing that with some ritual. I like to wing it, and I put some structure into my ritual, and I saw results, and they compounded themselves, especially for when I took this trip, and I was prepared for it. And again, I think there's a coaching relationship, but there was a personal relationship. There was earnest encouragement that I received from you, which I needed, and it was, like I said, it was genuine. We talked about a lot of personal stuff, and I really felt that there was some care and kindness there, which is and then I think we talk about vulnerability and things like that. It just opened things up where it was a productive, efficient dialogue all the time. And I kind of, could just, things unfolded really clearly as to things to do while working with you.
Thank you so much, Jim, for sharing your experiences of our coaching the last 6 months, 7 months that we've had together. It's been a sacred honor for me to hold this space. And I consider you a friend after all that we've been through. And again, I honor your courage to lean in, call bullshit on Bullshit Incorporated, and trust this inner journey, this brave inner journey through the heart. And it's been a joy working with you. Would you recommend my coaching to someone else that might be curious about healing and bringing forth more mind, body, spirit harmony, elevated mood, energy levels, etc.?
I would. And, I think I probably, I'll repeat myself again, is that, there's a personal aspect to this. And it requires trust. And, you earn my trust easily, just based on, how you conduct yourself and your style. And again, when you read somebody's book, you know, there was a lot to, I didn't have any reservations. So, and I think, I am one personally I like to figure things out for myself and not ask for help, which is really the slower route to go. It takes about twice as long, if not longer, when I try to figure things out myself. But when you ask for help, especially in something as personal and as important as this, I think, working with you, just made it compounded the results and made them unfold quicker. I became more knowledgeable and more educated and more informed quicker. I could scour the internet, I could find books, but I wouldn't really have trusted that situation as much as working with you personally.
Mm. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate your heartfelt words. And again, it's been wonderful having this time with you these past many months. And I appreciate you taking the time here today to share your thoughts and impressions. And again, it's been wonderful having this time with you.
Same here. I really enjoyed working with you, Matt.